Getting back on election coverage, thoughts on Nida's election? Yes, it's very sad. Hold on, I got to pee real quick.
But I'm here to hold.
By the way, this guy is one of his, the guy that we were watching earlier before he got on the stream is literally one of his candidates. Okay, one of the Justice Democrat candidates. Okay. Anyway, let's watch Newsom change dramatically on the issue of Israel.
And others are talking about it appropriately, sort of an apartheid state. They couldn't even, I mean, we're talking about regime change. For 2 years, they haven't even been able to solve the Hamas question in Israel.
Do you think, looking down the road, that the United States should consider maybe, rethinking our military support for Israel?
It breaks my heart because the current leadership in Israel is walking us down that path, where I don't think you have a choice but that consideration. I mean, to say this is in America's interest at a time when affordability is at crisis levels, where you had an administration who literally got elected saying this is exactly opposite of what they would ever consider doing. The fact that we are in this now regional war, all these proxies, the fact that we, and all the grift and the corruption, that's also marks a huge part of this. And that's a real conversation we need to have, this board of peace. And the peace that the Witkoff family is getting, and the peace that Kushner is getting, and the peace that Trump Jr. is getting.
What is the human toll of the US-Israeli strikes on Iran? In this world of disinformation and AI, we have very little verified footage to go on. This appears...
I'm going to get back on that Newsom take because I have a lot of thoughts. It might come as no surprise to you, but I have a lot of fucking thoughts on this. Okay, let me tell you something. Okay, the good and the bad. Okay, are you ready? The good and the bad. Number one, the good. The tide shift is here. Okay, the tide shift is here. It's not yesterday. It's not tomorrow. It's here right now. Okay, why am I saying this? Because this man, for all of his faults and failures, is, has ambitions for higher office. He wants to be the president. And if someone is trying to become the president and is putting his ear to the ground and recognizing that fucking tide shift and changing his narrative around this fundamentally important issue, that means that we are winning. Okay? He knows how to read a poll. Yes. But a lot of Democrats also know how to read a fucking poll, and yet they are still ginormous pussies when it comes to saying what the demands are of the large majorities of the public. I don't trust Gavin Newsom as far as like doing anything, and I mean anything that will even hurt Israel's interests, Israel's ambitions, and yet this clearly unprincipled Newsom is calling Israel an apartheid state that pushes it into war. All that shows is that you guys are dead, says Sammy Gold, responding to Roz Sauber. Newsom is gone full Mamdani. He says the United States is being pushed by Israel into a position where it may have to reconsider its military support. Oh, my God. And now he's echoing the claim that Israel is an apartheid state. The Democratic Party is dead. No. The party that is dead is not the Democratic Party. I mean, the Democratic Party is dying. That's true. But not for this reason. Okay? Especially if the Democratic Party decides to nut up or shut the fuck up on the issue of Israel, the Democratic Party won't die, and maybe even democracy won't die. Because if we do not rid ourselves of the toxic and unfortunately incredibly pervasive influence of Israel in American politics, both on the domestic front, but also as the driver of our Middle Eastern policy, our foreign policy, we're fucking done. Okay? We're done.
And a lot of Democrats have looked at the Netanyahu regime.
My goat, Tommy Vitor. brings up this question, the question of Israel. Let's take a look.
And felt like, you know what, we don't like the trajectory he's on. It's time to rethink the U.S. relationship with Israel, especially military support.
Well,
Where do you
Bibi's
stand?
making that easy right now. Let's talk about that. But the issue of Bibi's interest.
Do you prefer an anti-Semitic, anti-Israel right, or Israel first, philo-Semitic right? I prefer no right. Okay, how about no right wing? That's what I prefer. How about you're going to jail? Holy shit, called out by another bald man?
Have the fa sound effect on your streamer bar thing, Mr. Streamer. Dude, can we all like universally agree that shit is fucking crazy? Please. Holy fuck. It has to stop. It has to stop. Dude, like, literally like budget Howard Stern soundboard acting, dude. It's actually the fucking worst.
I think it's awesome. And I stand by it. Also, who is this? Is Moon Moon. One of the OGs, one of the goats. So let's get back to Gavin Newsom. Number one, why the fuck does this video have like an AI bass boosted Andrew Tate vibe with its filter? Okay. Once again, if you like the soundboard, sound off in the chat. Subscribe now if you like the soundboard, chat. Why?
Bruh.
Tell the world how you feel about the soundboard.
And pussy too.
Compare Newsom's action post 10-7 to the pastors. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. I forgot about this. When this motherfucker flew to Israel. Bruh. He said, I'm on my way to Israel. I'll be meeting with those impacted by those horrific terrorist attacks and offering California support. Motherfucker said, taxpayer dollars are going to pay for me to go to Israel. I'm going to hug and kiss the apartheid state.
Their history.
Also, we know what his previous take was on fucking Fortnite Friday.
Culture and traditions, and I believe in the notion of sovereignty, and I believe countries.
I was with you, and then when I saw his appearance on the Note Boys podcast, it kind of opened my eyes to research a bit more. And now I think that potentially a one-state solution may be the only possible solution.
My God. Basically, from Avi Shalim's brain to Connor Eats Pants' mouth. You know what I mean?
Well, we have a little bit of disagreement on that. I'm not falling. I'm not going to align with Bibi Netanyahu on that point of view.
No, I don't align with Bibi. I think that that's more of a like.
Bro's never heard of one state that is like a Palestinian first state. You know what I mean? He's like, what do you mean? You want Benjamin Netanyahu's design? Like the only time he's ever heard of one stater is like someone who is an ultra Zionist.
A Palestinian support solution, just getting equal rights and being able to live on where they live.
Yeah, well, I mean, with different approaches is to reach that same, at least as you've described it, that same perspective. But I've long believed in two-state solution, and I believe it's the appropriate and preferable path.
You think Jared Kushner is going to do a good job?
Come on, Jared Kushner.
Yeah, come on. He inhaled those Palisades fumes for you and you mock his voice now? Yes. Newsom is a socialist now. If anti-Semitic nationalists on the right are aligning with anti-Semitic socialists on the left like Newsom, what does that make them? Bro, Gavin, I know you and I, Big Gav, listen, Big Gavy Gav. I'm talking to you and you only. Everybody else tune out. Everybody else tune out of the broadcast. This is just between me and Big Gav. Gruesome. Governor Gavin Newsom. It's just you and me right now, baby. Listen to my voice. You want to make this pivot to the left? You know where to come. Okay? You know where to come.
I'm going to
Come to me, Gavin. Come to me. Let's have a conversation. I am sincerely interested in seeing what you're about. You've been my governor for as long as I can remember. I've paid a lot of taxes in this fucking state, okay? I make a good amount of money here. I'm asking you not just as a tax-paying citizen, but as someone who wants to really understand where you're coming from. Now that you are pivoting as a radical visionary, singing the praises of Yahya Sinwar, I need to hear from you, okay? I need to hear from you, Gav. The view count is going up. I told you guys to leave. You're still in here. You're coming in. You're tuning in. Now that you saw me talking personally, this is between me and Gavin, okay? Gavin, come to the broadcast. You just did the Adam Friedland show. Many people call that the Millennial Bill Maher. Come on the Millennial Jon Stewart. Let's have a discussion. You're hanging out with the Pod Johns? I hang out with the Pod Johns. You hang out with Adam Friedland? I hang out with Adam Friedland. You hang out with the lemonade stand podcast? I will be hanging out with the Lemonade Stand podcast. I'm just saying, Gav. Get on the team, baby. Adam is Hasan's friend, Gavin. You'll be safe. That's right.
Interesting. Because
you hang out with Connery's pants, I hang out with Connery's pants.
he's got his own domestic issues. He's trying to stay out of jail. He's got an election coming up. He's potentially on the ropes. He's got folks, the hard line, that want to annex the West Bank. I mean, Freeman and others are talking about it appropriately, sort of an apartheid state. They couldn't even, I mean, we're talking about regime change. For 2 years, they haven't even been able to solve the Hamas question in Israel. So this is, I mean, you know, I want to be careful here, but, you know, in so many ways, that influence in the context of the conversation of where Trump ultimately landed on this is pretty damn self-evident. And so Rubio may have been saying something else in the context of what he ultimately said in terms of being sort of pulled into some of these things. But I will say this, didn't surprise me in this context. I don't know if it was Napoleon or whoever said about a sword, the only thing you can't use a sword for is...
We used to be so close. I'm yearning. I have a real yearning in my heart for big Governor Gav.
Sitting on it. And when you bring 2 aircraft carriers out there and you assemble the kind of military force that Trump did over the last few weeks, it didn't surprise me ultimately they moved that direction.
Do you think, looking down the road, that the United States should consider maybe, you know, rethinking our military support for Israel?
It breaks my heart because the current leadership in Israel is walking us down that path where I don't think you have a choice but that consideration. I mean, to say this is in America's interest at a time when affordability is at crisis levels, where you had an administration who literally got elected saying this is exactly the opposite of what they would ever consider doing. The fact that we are in this now regional war, all these proxies, the fact that we, you know, and all the grift and the corruption, that's also marks a huge part of this. And that's a real conversation we need to have, this board of peace. And the peace that the Witkoff family is getting, and the peace that Kushner is getting, and the peace that Trump Jr. is getting.
Yeah, he flips it back on a partisan. Basis. UK MTL reports an explosion on an oil tanker 30 NM southeast of Kuwait. Unknown weapon, a small craft, left the vicinity after the incident. IRGC Navy Haidar 110 fast vessel spotted on the Persian Gulf. Unveiled 1 year ago, capable of firing anti-ship missiles, a max speed of 110 knots. It's the fastest operational military boat in the world. They killed her. Yeah, they killed the boat. Was there any way for Gavin to come out against Israel at this point that wouldn't make him look like he's just spineless and flip-flopping? No. Someone else getting the Hasanabi treatment? New J Insider via Gabby Deutsch. Dude, it's so fucking funny. These guys are going to write an article about every politician at this point, okay? For the last 2.5 years, I was the #1 op. I'm feeling a little jelly beans right now. I'm feeling a little peanut butter and jellies. They haven't written about how I'm a fucking Hamas IRGC militant in like months now because they're so busy freaking out about fucking Gavin Newsom, dude. I'm washed. I'm washed. Unk fell off. It's so funny how hysterical Jewish Insider is and how much they need to like consistently like write these fucking hysterical articles. Like on Thursday, Newsom will appear in Portsmouth, New Hampshire for a book interview with Jack Cochiarella, a self-described progressive political YouTuber who also frequently bashes Israel. Cochiarella said in a post on X promoting the event that they will be discussing Israel. Earlier this week, Cochiarella called Israel a terrorist state that threatens to kill Americans. Peanut butter and jellies, you couldn't even win Anti-Semite of the Year. Yeah, at this point, I mean, they're going to give it to like Hillary Clinton for fucking saying something mean about Israel a little bit, you know? That like 99% of the population thinks is not hard enough. What is this? I got paid law. It's not 7K a post, but I definitely get paid for every Israel mention. Even the troll posts are paid. Yeah, we know that already. Azealia is fucking washed. Wait, what the fuck is Jack's what is his Twitter? Jack Cosi Jack Cacciarella. What's his fucking Twitter at? You're looking thirsty, old man? I mean, I don't really give a shit. I'm fucking around. Also, who gives a fuck? Oh, it's JD Cosiarella. Jack Coachella. No, he's great. That guy is good. He's really good. I like him a lot. This is the saddest video you'll ever watch today. Russian pranksters trick Reza Pahlavi into believing they're representatives of the German Chancellor Merz. Despite obvious flags, the unmistakable Russian accent, the representative's Hitler mustache, who also introduced himself as Adolf, the man who wants Trump to install him as Shah in Iran. Cluelessly, he falls for it. But it gets worse. The German representative announced that Germany will start bombing Iran together with Israel and the U.S. This was days before the war started. And an elated Pahlavi welcomes it and says it is important that the U.S. and Israel not isolated in conducting this crusade. Yes, Pahlavi approvingly calls the U.S.-Israeli war in Iran a crusade. Incidentally, Pahlavi's handler is Justin Forsyth, a former British government official who later resigned from his post at UNICEF after admitting to inappropriate behavior with his female staff.
You know, I had a discussion with Chancellor Merz today, and we
Oh my God. This is like this is the thickest Russian accent of all time. He literally is like, yes, I am yeah. I am famous German Adolf.
discussed that we will talk to you, and his position now, he's open to join the game. So I need to assure you that Germany army is ready to launch military actions in Iran now. You know, we have Taurus missiles, so our intelligence is ready to start bombing Tehran.
Okay, well, the more we have as part of this coalition vis-à-vis the regime, the better, in fact. So it doesn't isolate just the Israelis and the Americans in this. That's certainly a welcome element for us to have more people joining in this crusade. And I'm glad if Germany is taking such a strong stance. I hope that others would follow suit.
This is the only acceptable form of elder abuse? God damn, dude. Reza. You hear that he is German and you believe him, Reza. Let's get Kubi Day. This is the worst German impression I've ever seen. Pahlavi's a Coomer brain moron. No, it's crazy. It's crazy. In Qatar, all houses close to the U.S. Embassy are being evacuated. Oh, shit. Did we get a secret win? What the fuck is this? What? Lakeisha Alston, the woman running for election as a Republican in North Carolina Senate District 22 in a full hijab and was revealed to actually be a lifelong Democrat, ran completely unopposed, and is now the GOP candidate. Wait, what? Wait, what? Ain't no fucking way. Wait, hello? Bro, this sounds fake. I don't believe Matt, that fucking dipshit. This sounds so fake. This is a practice also known as Islamic taqiyya. This got to be woke 3.0. Yo, that's sick. That's sick. Niqab wearing rhino running for North Carolina GOP Senate seat despite being a lifelong Democrat. There may be a rhino loose in North Carolina. Also, like, she could be like a devout Muslim who also is a very much a conservative. What the fuck? Like, are they just, did they, like, she's black and she's wearing a hijab. So they're like, oh, she must be woke. Like, you could still be, you could still be a conservative. Like, she could be hogged out. I don't fucking know. Like, what? It's so funny if she was like, I actually had a debilitating brain injury that caused me to be a conservative after being a lifelong Democratic Party voter. But now that you guys are actually being super racist to me and immediately suspecting me of being a Democratic plant, I'm actually switching teams again. Her district is heavily redistricted, so no Dem can win anything. So she's running in the rep primary. No, she's real, but I don't know about the hijab. Worrying reports of an earlier incident wait, what? An incident earlier today over Iran. More details to be expected. What the fuck? What is this vague posting shit? God, I hate OSINT Defender. Yeah. This is reverse Fetterman. What is it? I can't stop laughing with these edits.
Not in a very good position. You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. For the American people to see what's going on.
Got a bald head. John Fetterman reports that Rubio and Pete are feuding over the war. Why? One is making it. I bet it's because Pete Hegseth is trying to make it less gay, and Marco Rubio is trying to make the war woke. That's got to be it, right? Scoop, Pete Hegseth and Marco Rubio are feuding over U.S. approach to war on Iran. I reckon a report with Oscar Rickett. Rubio and Hegseth at each other's throats over whether the U.S. should send troops to Iran. Gulf official says U.S. is weighing special ops deployment. Yeah, they're going to do special ops deployment. According to Harana, 1,097 civilian deaths, including 181 children, 5,402 injured, including 100 children. Latest Iran update. Latest numbers from Harana since the start of the U.S.-Israel war against the Islamic Republic. Reminder, Harana death confirmations take time as they go through multiple layers of confirmation. I've included a screenshot of a tweet of mine from the end of January sharing Harana's data in the aftermath of the regime's industrial-scale massacre of protesters. Here's why the data I showed above is inconvenient for some of you. For those of you who spent a month engaging in atrocity denial, saying this data couldn't be trusted because it comes from a U.S.-based organization claiming that Zionists run it, you can't suddenly use this data for your political purposes now that it suits you. No, I think it's like Harana is 100% a U.S.-based organization, first of all. But it's kind of like the Human Rights Watch, you know? Sometimes they're going to be in line with the American State Department's needs, and in most cases. But in other circumstances, they still have to run reasonable reports, otherwise they lose credibility. And also, Harana never said like 30,000. Harana's initial estimates were, I think, what, 7,000? Yeah, confirmed fatalities is 6,000. Was the at the time Harana's confirmed fatalities number was 6,000, and I believe it's increased to 7,000 with confirmations later down the line. Found vague post info. Iranian bombers came within minutes of striking the largest military base housing U.S. troops in the Middle East before Qatari planes shot them down. In the first aerial combat mission, two sources briefed on the operation told CNN. What is this? Who wrote this? What the fuck is this? More footage of interceptors just now. Bro, this is why I'm saying, like, these motherfuckers are still bombing Israel, okay? Like, that's why I'm saying that. I mean, it's not as intense as like the first day. It's not as intense as the first day, because the first day was like a crazy amount of barrage, right? But and it was literally like every 20 minutes or so. But they're still lobbing salvos at Israel. Okay? They're still doing LGBT. Let's go bomb Tel Aviv. Like, they're doing that still. Bro, Hezbollah is still bombing them too while also having firefights with them. Yeah. So, no, they haven't mined the Strait of Hormuz. They don't need to mine the Strait of Hormuz. Okay? The Strait of Hormuz is fucking 30 kilometers, chat. What are you talking about? They've literally been lobbing missiles and also Shahed drones across the waterway directly into the UAE, non-fucking style, and Oman. Not Oman, sorry. UAE, well, sometimes Oman as well. And Bahrain, non-stop. So, they already have the munitions to quote unquote close the Strait of Hormuz. In the absence of like American naval presence ensuring the oil tankers to make sure that they allow safe passage, there's no oil tanker that's gonna fucking go through that process and just potentially get bombed. The whole narrative that they depleted the older stockpile, true? No, they didn't deplete the stockpile. The problem is not the stockpile from the Iranian side. The problem is if they can open up the caves once again, because all of their depots are deep underground. Their munition, their silos deep underground. Their munition depots are underground. Their processing facilities are deep underground. They're probably still making missiles while they're lobbing missiles at the same time. But the entry point into those facilities, obviously, are not going to be deep underground. You have to get them out of somewhere. And the TEL, like the launchers that they use, like the ones that look like Technicals or the ones that look like trucks, which is still a relatively sophisticated piece of machinery, not as like sophisticated as like the ones that launch ICBMs, obviously. Those have to go outside and launch missiles. They also have underground missile launchers too. But once again, the transponder erector launchers, they blow those up, and they blow those up frequently. I don't know how much they have of those, but they still obviously have to launch a lot of these missiles above Earth. Like, this is Western media. Why missile mass could be in Tehran's favor. This is Sky News writing it. So whenever people are like, oh, you're coping or whatever, I'm actually making a very sober assessment. I'm not saying that like the situation in Iran is good. I'm not saying the future of Iran is good. As a matter of fact, I keep talking about how fucking devastating this is so far and how devastating it certainly will be if Israel gets its entire agenda across, which is full-blown destabilization, fomenting ethnic tensions, all this stuff, right? But I do see a lot of people on the internet finding themselves in one camp over the other. There are some people who literally get duped by successful Iranian strikes on Tel Aviv that are just straight up AI videos, and they keep posting them and they go super viral, and it's very frustrating, okay, for someone like myself who cares about the fucking truth. And there's also a lot of people who think like, oh, they've already destroyed like 99% of all the missiles that Iran has, or they've depleted all of their missile stocks and all that stuff. That's all bullshit. The real problem for Iran here is whether or not they have enough launchers, whether they can get those launchers outside of the underground facilities that they have and launch it in time before the missile launchers are blown up by Israeli or American drones. Okay? And sometimes I guess like American Air Force as well, or Israeli Air Force as well, will do bombing campaigns. The problem for the American Air Force is that even if they do B-2 stealth bombing campaigns, which they have done so far, and these are very costly initiatives, okay? They fly from the United States of America, go all the way to fucking Tehran, go all over they go above the Iranian airspace, and they drop these bunker busters. There's no guarantee that those bunker busters are actually hitting the stockpile at all. It seems like a strategic mistake on Iran's part to be hitting as many places as they are, especially a place like Turkey, but I imagine that had to be a mistake. Yes. I don't know what the Turkish interception was about at all. I don't know what the fuck that was. They haven't been able to reduce the amount of missiles and planes coming at them and haven't been able to touch the U.S. Navy at all, which is the most important. Yes. They have not done shit to the Israeli Air Force. Or at least as far as we know. Even if they have, the Israeli Air Force is still steadily engaging in bombing campaigns. The suspicion is actually they're using the Azeri airspace to kickstart to enter into the Iranian airspace, for the record. I think they're going through Azerbaijan. But with Israel, we're just never going to know because the military censor is never going to let you know. And the Americans, we're not going to know about either. Let's be real. Like, there have been some successful strikes on American assets, American naval assets. Twice it has happened. One was a refueling ship. One was a supply ship that they struck. And the other one was a ship that was being refueled near the Indian Ocean. But the American government never let a peep about that. They never let it know. They never let it be known. China rebuilding Iran. What a hilarious take. Are you just like making up statements that I haven't made at this point? Is that what's going on? Bro got mad at a thing I'm not even talking about, a thing that I have never said. That's so strange. What other takes do you have that you think that you suspect I'm saying right now while I'm in the process of reading your made up take? No, I saw that in the chat. Okay, dude.
Are expensive, but are the costs of America's attack on Iran financially and logistically unsustainable? Take a look at this. This is Iranian state-affiliated media showcasing vast stockpiles of low-cost but highly lethal Shahed drones. In response to America and Israel's attack on Iran, the regime launched hundreds of these against its attackers and their allies. But there's a huge mathematical mismatch between the cost of Iran's weapons and those used to defend against them. Take the UAE, for example. It's had amazing success in thwarting Iranian missile and drone attacks, claiming to have downed more than 90% of those fired at it in the first 3 days of the conflict. But a Shahed drone costs between $20,000 and $50,000. The missiles used to intercept them between $500,000 and $1.5 million. One analyst estimating it could have cost the UAE up to $750 million to thwart an attack of around 500 Shahed drones. That's 20 to 30 times more than it cost Iran to launch them.
The math clearly favors Iran in this strategy of attrition because they just have, we don't know exactly how many Shahed drones they might have in their stockpiles, but it's much larger than the combined total of the stockpiles of interceptor missiles that are available. We're now seeing sort of a race between Israel and the United States trying to locate this drone infrastructure, to try to destroy it, to reduce the pressure on these interceptors, versus Iran trying to keep it an active threat.
The UAE says it's got plenty of missile stockpiles to continue to defend itself, but it's been reported that America's allies in the Middle East are desperately trying to replenish their supplies of mainly US-made missile interceptors. The question is, will they be able to do that, given it looks like America may well be running out of ammo too? Take Tomahawk missiles, very effective and very expensive, being launched here from warships off Iran. It's estimated the US military's deployed up to 400 Tomahawk missiles to the Middle East, but that represents 10% of the 4,000-strong US arsenal. Stockpiles of THAAD missiles are thought to be seriously depleted too. America reportedly launching around 150 of them in its 12-day war with Iran in June last year. That represents about a quarter of its 600.
It's okay, guys. America can make 14 a year. That's right. 14. They depleted a quarter of the total existing inventory suspected.
Plus stockpiles of that weapon.
We are using these interceptors at a rate that's much faster than you can possibly replace them. The problem is that increases your long-term strategic risk, particularly in other theaters.
America, of course, can always withdraw from the Middle East once it's run out of weapons, but analysts warn its peer adversaries are watching. If America depletes its arsenal through campaigns like this, what power would it have to deter?
We banned that one chatter that said U.S. has a contingency plan, but I really want to know what he would say right now. I really want to know what the fuck he'd be saying right now about the U.S. contingency plan. James Talarico speaks after winning the Senate. Okay, dude, chill. Footage showing what appears to be an exo-atmospheric ballistic missile interception, likely by a U.S. Army THAAD or U.S. Navy SM-3 earlier over in northeastern Syria near the border with Turkey. Unconfirmed reports suggest that the Iranian ballistic missile was attempting to target Incirlik Air Base in what would be the second attack today against the territory of Turkey by Iran. What the fuck? Chat, that's where some of the nukes are, by the way. Hey, yo, chill, bro. Hey, yo, chill. Iran, chill. Chill, big dog. This was days ago? No, this... No, they fucking they tried to lob one Turkey's way not that long ago. A couple hours ago. Couple hours ago. Hey, yo, chill, baby girl. What's good? Also, this is interesting because if they're actually increasing their strike priorities, if they're increasing the range, and if they're actually targeting Turkey as well, that means that there is some semblance of centralized command. Like someone is telling them to reappropriate their targets, like to change some of their targets, right? Which is interesting because like all of the other bombing campaigns, they could have been designed early on, right? All the other bombing campaigns, like they could have just said, keep pummeling the Gulf, keep pummeling these targets. These are the targets. You just got to keep going after them over and over again. And without any sort of like central command.